Let's go.
Welcome to Drawing Hive.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday night. We're here to draw. If you know Visual Arts Passage, that's good. If you know us, you know that we are an educational program that delivers this every Thursday night, 253 times. I think that's right, Timmy. I may not be, I may be, I've lost.
I'm pretty sure it's right.
Yeah,
And
that's right. That's right.
And we're an educational program. We just think it's great outreach. It was great for our students. What we do is we help people through our mentorship programs build careers as illustrators and painters. So we're going to talk about more tonight. We're running a big sale, and I got something to say about it later on. But tonight we're going to do some drawing, and we're doing Mountainhead. And Timmy and I was love listening to Gianna's point of view about watching this. And I'll tell you my wife's point of view later on. It was
Gianna's point of view was mostly snoring. That was
not
like
my
her.
not my wife. She was screaming at the TV.
Okay, yeah.
So
People forgot what satire is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Carell, a great photograph. I love this shot. Great light.
I love
Fun
Steve
to-
Carell.
Fun to draw. Yep, really smart guy.
Yep.
Rami,
Yusuf.
Yep.
Corey Michael Smith, and Jason Schwartzman.
Yep.
That's a killer photograph.
Mhm.
That reminds me, that's like Godfather level. That reminds me,
Totally.
it kind of looks like Al Pacino a little bit too. So,
Isn't he a Coppola? So that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
oh, there
He
you
is.
go. There you go.
He is a
All right.
Coppola.
Well, we're doing, you can choose. We're doing two 20-minute poses and then one 40-minute pose. You can try to draw them all. You can draw one. I like to think that if you're really trying to develop your skill, draw as many as you can, push yourself, and that's it. Timmy's probably got more to talk about posting and all that.
Yeah, everybody. So if this is your first time joining us, please draw along. We're here to answer questions. We're here to talk about industry, technique, process. Sometimes we'll talk about some pop culture and just some nothing. But please draw along with us and share your work. We check out the work at the end of the night. Use hashtag DrawingHive243 or hashtag DrawingHive253. Hashtag DrawingHive and Add Visual Arts Passage. Put that in the caption, and we are gonna scroll through Instagram at the end of the show and check it out. I know Scott Anderson is showing up late. We chose this topic because he suggested something else, and we were like, "No, you're gonna draw billionaires again." And I liked this movie. I thought it was very smart. I loved the dialogue. I thought it was clever. And John and I were like, you know what? Maybe we could go 1 week without drawing puppies or Disney stuff. So we've got to put on our thinking caps this week for this incredibly divisive movie. But yeah, you're just drawing figures. You could just pretend it's Steve Carell from The Office.
I do love him as Michael Scott. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
And also, I'm going to open the chat. I just opened the chat. So if you toggle it to everyone, let us know where you're tuning in from and what you're using, what materials. We will post the replay to YouTube. We haven't been posting them to YouTube lately because a lot of them are going to the vault, which means
Really?
good. No,
Is the vault back?
No, the vault's not back. I need to put them on YouTube. I'm behind like 2 weeks, but yeah, the good episodes end up in the vault usually. It's a bottled experience. Think of it like a live concert. You just saw it and nobody recorded it on their phones.
We've decided you shouldn't talk about what we were talking about.
And we decided we have to decide, is it worth cutting that out to post it, or do we just not post anything?
I feel if Minotaur Night made it, anything can.
It's true. It really does depend. It
That's my
really,
personal
I don't
opinion.
even want to
yeah.
think about that.
It's one of the best episodes. If you just Google visual arts passage Minotaur milking, milking,
It was very educational for me.
it was exceptionally educational. Not all
Hashtag,
of our
hashtag Lauren Panapento.
Oh my
hashtag Lauren
gosh, what a
Panapinto,
character.
hashtag Minotaurs.
Can we have her back?
Yeah, I was actually messaging her to do that soon. I know we got Joe Vox coming back soon. We are gonna
Yay.
have some fun guests. So
Hashtag earmuffs. That's my
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the tone of the show is changing as I promised from 250 onward. It was going to be edgier and more honest and and a couple episodes out the gate might end up in the vault, you know?
Which means we laughed a lot if that
Yeah, it
happened.
means it's a better episode. I mean, maybe we should have a Patreon that's just vault episodes.
Oh, that'd be great.
We'd be getting like $10. Yeah, $10 a month total.
And it,
But
for
yeah, I
one
feel like it's
penny,
worth
you
it.
can join our
Yeah. Oh
Patreon.
yeah, if we made it a penny, that would be great. We might get a special penny. That's why we do it.
Ooh.
Get like a centennial or something.
Yay. Hey,
Mhm.
Scott.
We
Hey
got
guys.
Scott here. Um,
uh,
Cassandra,
Hi.
are those the grabby markers?
Yep.
Cool.
Felt like that kind of day for me.
Yeah. Is it pretty like that's like super low stress, just get them out, start working, or is
Yeah,
there
it's
any
like,
mess with it at all?
huh?
Is there any mess that comes with it at all?
My fingers. I also pulled out some like water, some like aqua brushes because I
Mhm.
heard you can move it around with that, so I'm gonna play with that a little bit. But yeah,
Cool.
it's low mess. I don't have to drag my paints up from the studio and my palette and brushes.
Oh,
This I just
nice.
have to bring up a sketchbook and the markers, so pretty low key for me.
Cool. All
John, what
right.
are you working with?
I'm drawing with pastel, a new pastel on mid-tone paper.
Nice.
All right. And
Scott, what are you gonna be
Scott,
using?
I can only be here for an hour tonight because I have to go take my son to a performance he's a part of tonight as we're wrapping up the school year over at his high school. So I thought I would just draw on tracing paper with my red and blue Prismacolor pencils, kind of the way I like to draw for when I'm, if I'm going to do like a completed illustration.
nice.
So just Canson tracing paper and two Prismacolor pencils.
Do you care at all about the color you're going to use, or you just grab them?
Yeah, I've mentioned this before, but I use a specific. It's a crimson red is the red Prismacolor I use, and then indigo blue for the
Hmm.
blue because I learned that these are both like the polar opposite of channels in Photoshop. So if I scan in a sketch like this where I do the preliminary drawing in red and then the refinement in blue, and I want just the refinement, what I can
Yeah.
do is just go to the red channel. It's like counterintuitive, but if I go to the red channel, it only shows the blue content. People who know Photoshop can kind of figure out why that works,
Yeah.
but it allows me to like essentially just drop out that initial layer perfectly. So I am actually a little bit particular about these colors. And so while that's only important if I'm doing it as a preliminary drawing for like a digital illustration, at this point I've just gotten used to it. So these are kind
How
of
did
my
you
my two
do the
colors.
was that a pretty like mathematical conclusion you came to on like matching those, or did you just do it by eye?
Pure dumb luck. Pure dumb luck.
But like, did you just eyeball it, or like, is that what
In
you're?
terms of no, I mean what it came down to is I had used I think it was actually like an orange pencil that also the same thing worked in terms of it
Mm,
would show up only like this red pencil it would show up mostly in the blue channel And then I just refined it to a red when I realized that that worked even better. But no, it was
Yeah.
literally I had scanned in a drawing for an illustration, and all of a sudden it was kind of just for some reason I was flipping through the different color channels, and to like my total surprise, realized like, oh my gosh, looking at this red channel now, I'm only seeing that indigo blue pencil. So now it's just the refined drawing, nice and clean.
Wow.
And so I was able to drop out the other channels and then start painting on top of that. So it's just
That's
So it's
amazing.
so
But
cool.
indigo
yeah,
blue and what red?
and crimson red. But I mean,
Crimson
honestly,
red.
just about any red I'm sure would work. Is
Really?
just the one
Yeah.
I've kind of latched onto. So,
Wow.
hey, I don't know if you guys had already gotten into this or not, but did anybody watch this movie
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
that we're drawing from tonight?
I have
Because I
not.
watched it last night and it chilled me to the bone.
I thought it was
Oh,
I
great.
thought I
really?
was like, this is not a comedy satire as they build it. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was really satirical. I loved it.
No, I mean it is
Yeah.
satirical, but my
Yeah.
point being the and
Yeah.
Cassandra without any spoilers at all, but like you know it's four oligarchs who get together for their like annual
Yeah.
poker hangout,
Yeah.
and they've all known each other. Clearly, they all did like an incubator together with
Yeah.
Steve Carell as kind of like the lead financier.
Yeah.
But one of them, who's the very much the Musk analog and has
Yeah.
his own social media platform, unleashes right before they get together new AI video creation tools that are
Hmm.
so
Mhm.
realistic that then people within 20 minutes of them being released, people start creating deep fake videos accusing like
Right.
in war torn countries like the rival side of atrocities that then cause actual riots. And so like
Oh
within an
my
hour
gosh.
of releasing these AI tools, the world is burning. I mean, like literally burning. And then it's all about how the guy who's the Musk analog just is such a sociopath. He doesn't care because all he cares about is not only the money, but the fame he's going to get. And so
Mhm.
he's just trying to like, we just got to push through this.
Yeah.
The pushing through being
You're
thousands and thousands of
you're
deaths.
spoiling
And
like the whole movie, Scott.
I'm sorry, but anyway, that it
You're-
just it was too close to home. It was
yeah,
I literally I haven't been
you
that
gotta leave some for people to
well,
watch.
come on, that's in the first like 15 minutes. But I mean, I just think
Yeah.
that commentary on where AI is likely to go and the absolute callousness of those in
Yeah.
charge of said services, I was like, I haven't felt that uncomfortable watching something in a really long time. Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I thought it was good.
So,
It was interesting. It was funny. I love the creator. Also did Succession. Has
yeah,
a
yeah,
really really great
it's got that
perspective on
it's got
like
that mark. It's got that same caustic,
yeah.
dark humor of Succession,
It
I think.
was sillier. It was much sillier than Succession,
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah, it was great. It was I loved it. Um
I don't
and it was
know if
also
I
fiction.
don't
It was
know if it was
fiction. I
any
just want to
better.
remind everybody, it was fiction.
Yeah. Well,
Barely.
today is
Stop,
reality.
stop. Let's not call it what it's not.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
trying to say that I don't know if it was any better than today's news.
All
So,
right. All right.
there you
Let's
go.
I joke when I say we need to be grittier, guys. I'm being sarcastic.
Well, you set Scott up. Scott,
What was that?
Scott
Yeah.
had a thing about billionaires last week, and then you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
gonna draw billionaires.
Yeah.
I'm having some strong feelings about billionaires this week. That's all. I'll just
Yeah.
leave it there.
Right. See how hard it is to move on, guys? See how hard it
Sorry,
is
I killed it.
to
Yeah,
leapfrog from
I
that?
can say I've been having a crazy art week. On top of my kids' summer started already. Their last day was last week, so it's been um, a juggling act of like fun things for my kids and me still trying to get through like all the work that needed to get done. So
That
my
is a lot, Cassandra. So yes, let's. I just want to say you are seen right now. I totally get how that
thank you,
goes.
friend. Yeah,
It's
it's
one of the nice things about my kids not being in high school is that yeah the season changes, but your kids are young enough. They need mom and they need her a lot. So yeah, it's going to really crunch your studio time for sure.
Scott, that just
yeah.
blows me away that when you mentioned, you were talking about your son and then you said high school, and I was like, ooh, oh my God.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
I mean, he's
thinking
just a
about it.
freshman,
Okay,
but
is he going to be in
yeah,
fifth
he's
grade or fifth grade?
Right. No, tonight's he's in his high school choir, and tonight's like the rock pop concert they're doing to just to have something fun for the end of the year.
Oh,
So
that'll be great.
he's got a solo on a Billy Joel song, and then he's going to play drums with a band of just him and his buddies. They're going to do Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams, which I think is going to bring the house down because they're
Oh
really
my
rehearsed on it, and
gosh.
it's really tight.
I feel like, and I can already tell the choir director is of our age, that they've picked Billy Joel and Bryan Adams like selections for the choir.
I think she's just a touch younger than us, but yeah, I mean, she's in the zone that yeah, she's going for. Well, and the
In the
kids
realm.
actually picked Bryan Adams. That was on their own that they came up with that. So
Wow.
yeah.
And it wasn't from maybe perhaps a short list of songs. It had to have been. How old
I'll
are
have
the
to ask him.
kids?
I'm not sure, but I
There's
mean,
not a
look, he's
chance that a classroom of children chose Brian Adams,
well,
but
so the where again, it's high
yeah,
school freshmen that are doing this, but their
right.
bass player for tonight is a high school senior whose dad is
Okay.
a good friend of mine, and his dad teaches guitar lessons
Yeah.
to. He's kind of like the main guy you go to in Santa Barbara to get guitar lessons. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that the son, who's been very versed in the music of his
Yeah.
dad's era, he may have been the one who came up with it, but when
That's
my
Yeah.
son
awesome.
told
Oh,
me about it, it was like it was their
I
idea.
just meant there's no way that that organically came from a group of high school students.
No, that was my exact
Yeah.
reaction was like, I
Yeah.
didn't know you were even
Yeah.
aware of the song, but somehow he was. So
I
there you
think
go.
it means we're hip
Interesting.
again, right? With like our 90s music is coming around again.
Are you
Can only hope,
familiar at
but
all
that
with
one was '80s.
yeah.
It's earlier even than you think. But yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Are you guys familiar at all with the Langley Schools music project?
no,
No. What's that?
Um, well, it's actually a thing that's been really interesting because it's an album that came out in this well, it was recorded in the 70s. Um, but it's talked about amongst like music teachers often because it's very rare that music teachers ever like let the kids do the music they want to do, right?
Hmm.
And in like 1976, this teacher, it's what School of Rock is very loosely based around, had all these kids learn instruments and covered all of their favorite musicians. And it's like basically it's a collection of like David Bowie songs by like a class choir,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
it's amazing. It's such a good album. It's really cool.
what
Um,
era was this that it happened?
in the 70s, like late 70s.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that
Yeah.
that could be the only time frame where kids would know about and choose Bowie, right? Like
Yeah.
that wouldn't happen today. So
But it was like also really like taboo. I think they did. Yeah, somebody said Beach Boys was in there.
okay,
What was it? All the pop, like 70s pop, you know?
yeah, right, right.
Um, but it's cool. It's a cool one. And and I think it's like a good study of like, I don't know, like let the kids do it. And then it somehow got licensed and it's an album you can buy now. But they got released. I remember hearing it when I was like in high school. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a great listen.
Ooh, I gotta check that out. That sounds
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's my rec of the week, Langley School Music Project.
I like it.
Um, have you guys been busy working on stuff?
Always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
That is the right answer.
Anything in particular exciting?
I'm in two group shows that open this week, and then I have another group show next week, and then the illustration project will be released soon. So it's just like all of this month is like all now happening. So that's exciting.
For
Someone
me,
said,
it's working on a piece for a gallery show that's a few months off, but trying to get it done here during the summer while I've got time. And then I'm actually taking my first foray into selling some prints of some paintings. So just got those in
Ooh,
yesterday. So I got to get those all set out and numbered and signed and then packaged up to send to where they're going. So yeah, so it's been more of
exciting.
like a gallery style, fine art style week over here.
nice. Is that a let your hair down situation or is that all hands on deck?
Somewhere in the middle. There's some work
Yeah.
to be done, but yeah, not like, yeah, not hair on fire deadline or anything like that. So,
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. John, what
what
have you
about
been
you,
up to?
John?
Me, I've been doing small paintings all week, studies for bigger paintings.
I love that your small paintings are my big paintings.
Totally same.
Then I don't know if you well you yeah, I'm drawing. You can't see when they're behind me, but you can't. I got the other camera on, so um
Nice.
I
What size are these studies at?
I'll show you one.
Oh,
Eight,
Oh
18,
man, that's a
eight,
study.
yeah, it's 18,
that's
20,
gorgeous.
That
excuse
is
me,
a
it's
beautiful piece.
12, excuse me, 12 by 20. It's very vertical piece. It was, you
Man,
know,
I
Oh,
really love that, John. That is beautiful.
that sun. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. So what size will that be if that's the study?
the final is going to hang in a it's I is going to be 50 by 30.
Dang.
It's very vertical.
Wow.
Oh, that'll be so cool at that size. Man, I can't wait to see that piece finished, Sean.
Me too.
That study is gorgeous.
Thanks.
John,
No,
is it fair to say that particular road is like almost like a landscape muse for you? Because I know I've seen you depict it before.
it's not the same road. It's a different place.
Oh, okay.
When you go out and where a lot of the times when I photograph, there's a lot of roads like that.
Okay. All right. So
It's
there's
like
more.
it's pretty common, but it's like I love the idea of doing landscape that has like it's not completely pristine like a lot of
Mhm.
landscape painters do. It has the marks and the scars of human life. And so I like telephone poles and uh, roads and things that go through it that feel like, people walked on this.
Mhm. Well, and just the kind of the rolling hills of the roads gives just some automatic nice rhythm and break up any kind of symmetry for you, in the piece. So that's
It's a
I could
nice
see
thing.
why you're attracted to them.
Roads create a really they create a really subtle narrative to something. It's
Mm,
like
Hmm.
it has a destination in it, at the end of the
Yeah.
road. And in that case, it was kind of the sunset. And, you know, I don't want to be too corny with them, but uh, I, I, I enjoy trying to get some kind of mood to them.
Yeah.
not corny at all. That was just lovely atmosphere, the softness of it. Like a
Now,
sun
what?
is so hard to put in a piece in perspective, and you did it so well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Will that piece go to the collector as well, or will that be something sold separately?
Uh, no, I can do whatever I want with the small paintings. And I've been getting the studies recently because of Ray Bonilla told me to do this about 2 years ago that I ought to do something with my smaller paintings. And I, trying to really focus on the look and feel and forcing voice out of my pictures. I've gotten in the habit of doing these studies, and then that's my reference. I'm really building reference for a small painting, and I do the big painting from the small painting. I don't look at anything but the small painting. And it's really helped me kind of create more of a voice with my work.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
got
it's it's
it's got a job to do.
and it's he wasn't the first person to do that, but for me, at least with an illustration background, the most prominent artist I always think of who worked that way was Leyendecker.
Oh yeah.
He'd work from the live model and whatnot and everything in the studio and do multiple paintings, multiple angles, and then that became the reference that then he would do the final post cover or advertisement from or whatever. So you're in good company there.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like Lance, I was trying to explain this to somebody, I don't know, it was today or yesterday in a portfolio review. I was talking about like the experience of seeing the landscape and trying to paint something that doesn't, you can't even replicate it in the reference, photograph that you shoot. It's kind of a feeling. And I remember seeing this tree out in the middle of this valley that had this really illuminated, it had atmospheric perspective that pushed all the values behind the tree really close
Mm.
together and lighter. And then the tree was just this big dark shape. And then everything in front of it was pretty well lit. And it was just, the photograph did okay. I mean, it showed me where everything was, but trying to make that picture has been a really fun thing for me to do. I've been
Mm.
trying to do that this week also.
Can you explain atmospheric perspective? Because I feel like it's a cool
Yeah,
thing that may not be as well known.
it's a really great another form of perspective, and it's basically light molecules. As you move back in a scene, there's more air in front of things. So things values pinch together, they get lighter. Generally, most cases they cool off. And it's just a way of, especially in painting, of depicting depth. And I like to use it a lot in my paintings.
Hmm. And you make it look too easy, John.
The quote
You're
from
well.
the quote from George Pratt: "If you could see my eyes bleeding when I'm doing this."
It makes me feel better.
On the topic of bleeding eyes, last night I was having to color correct something and it was not fun.
Oof.
It's my least favorite task. Um, it's the worst.
Was it uh
Is for comedy,
was it a
comedian.
long video, a short video, or
No, it's actually really short. But it's funny. It's a great example of it's a new person that I'm working with, and won't reveal anything, but and I don't have any. I'll be clear. It's no one that anybody here knows about. I've never talked about him before, so I just want to be clear. It's not Matt Salkius, right? Uh, but the person who shot it just like they have too many clashing tones, and so like color correction is like really difficult. So you have like a figure with like a really warm person, and then they have like red hair, and then the background is like almost like salmon, and you're just like, this is a nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
This is not fixable. Like this is, you know, and they're like, can't you just use AI or something? You're like, no, 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 you did this wrong. Like,
well,
and
it seems like I
yeah,
don't think we think about that in video as much. Like paint.
Right.
It's like you think, well, that's just the way it was, and you got to deal with it. But then you see something like the color, the power of the color, and oh brother, we're out the lack
Mhm.
of color maybe in
Mhm.
video. It's just not something you immediately
no,
go to.
it's putting the right like dressing and lighting your figure for like a proper background. It's
Yeah.
the same rules.
Here, I'll show
You
you
know, it's the
the
exact same rules you guys talk about with picture making.
sure.
That's why every cinematographer talks about like every frame should be a painting. Like,
Well, the
you know,
cinematographers are the best at it. It's like
really
Yeah.
give them
good.
paintbrushes, they'd all be great painters. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the other one with the tree.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah.
Put a
wow.
spotlight on that, Timmy.
And I'm
I'm working on it.
it's not complete. It's not doing everything I want it to do yet. But it's getting there.
But that's a
Yeah.
perfect example of atmospheric perspective right there.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
how all those values pinch together. They're lighter in that
Mhm.
tree, the value in the center. But it's like I saw that, and it's like the photograph certainly didn't do it justice, but I remember it, and I'm trying to get to what I saw or what I think I saw.
Mhm.
That's my Cassandra, you'll laugh at this. And Scott,
Uh-huh.
too, that my dad used to say this all the time. He said, I'm a painter that mostly paints from memory, and I have the worst memory of anybody I know.
I love that.
That's
I think I heard
funny.
your dad say that line once.
That's just so him.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
the
John,
truth.
we worked with each other for like 5 years before he was like, so you're Timmy and the other one is Tony. And I was like, I've known you my entire life.
Timmy, I'm pretty confident. I was very close to my father, but I'm pretty confident that he didn't know when my birthday was.
Yeah. You just feel it out.
Well, it's 2 days after Christmas, and so he would always
Yeah.
include it into Christmas in some way.
Oh, that's
Just be
always so
like,
hard to
I
have that
just kind of
birthday.
happy birthday weekend.
And my sisters that didn't have the good fortune of being right next to Christmas, he had no clue.
Oh yeah. Could see that.
But he was a very attentive father.
The birthdays.
Birthdays, somebody was helping him all the time.
Yeah, it's funny. Is it hard to draw Steve Carell with such a stern look? I mean, it's not new. He's been doing. In fact, I would say the biggest bummer about Steve Carell is it's hard. He's a great actor, but God, I want to see him do like a really strong comedy.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I
Yeah.
And he's
love
not
comedies.
even the comedies that he's been in, he's kind of playing the straight man often. Like he plays often the serious, like grounded character.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
most recent one, the Tina Fey thing on Netflix,
Yeah,
he really
that was
wasn't
rough.
comedic in that one for the
Yeah.
most part in
I
that one.
started off being like, I like this. And then I was like, this is the most tonally off show I've ever seen.
haven't tried it
Yeah,
yet.
I
It was all
ultimately
over it was all over the place. It didn't know if it wanted to be silly. It didn't know if it wanted to be heartfelt. And it had a depiction of people in their 40s and 50s that was just absurd.
well,
Scott,
especially
yeah, Scott, do you have a group of friends?
wealthy 40s and 50-year-olds, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Scott, do you have a group of friends you all get together 4 times a year?
Heck no, dude. And
Yeah.
especially these luxury vacations that we're spending
Yeah,
money on. I mean, and
yeah.
would count myself as somebody who's blessed with a very strong friend group. But yeah, like, no, we don't do all our
Oh
vacations
yeah.
together. I mean, yeah, the whole premise was pretty absurd, but
I read two think pieces on like current entertainment that I and like media that I really loved. One, and I want to say I think both of them were from the New Yorker. Um, the one was about like wealth porn, which is like White Lotus and the show. What's the show we're talking about? Four Seasons,
Oh yeah, Four
Four Seasons.
Seasons.
But
where
I
it's
mean,
like
Succession was that too, and yeah.
see, Succession, I did not think so because it really did the creator's vision, which is we are going to like skewer these people. I thought it was like
Okay. I still
do
thought
you
though, I
see what I
mean,
mean?
it showcased what, the egregiousness of wealth is, like,
Right. No, it
uh,
did showcase it, but shows like White Lotus and shows like Four Seasons don't skewer the characters successfully. And as a result, the locations they film out sell out. The clothing items the characters wear
yeah.
sell out.
Mm.
I'm a
And
little bit different opinion on White Lotus. I think they
yeah,
absolutely skewer the
I was gonna
privilege
say
in
I
those
it's
thought White
characters.
well,
Lotus
some of
for
the argument though is that it's being watched and it's being misinterpreted. So whereas like Succession did not get misinterpreted, another great example is like Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie. It if you understand subtext and satire, you'll understand that it is not praising the leads, right?
Right.
However, it's unfortunately become like a classic amongst like Wall Street bros,
You're
right?
right. Right. Yeah. Like
And
the
so it's
goal
just
that
like
they're
it's
aiming
one of those
for.
things where it's like the audience somehow destroys it, you know?
Hmm.
Which was that was like the big argument with like White Lotus, which is like the show is like not doing what the creator because I love Mike White, he's awesome, but it basically was
loved
just
him
like
in
it's
School of
not.
Rock.
Yeah, I know. Hey, full circle. Um,
Did you guys hear? I don't know if any of you guys are Survivor fans, but if we're talking about Mike White for a second, he's
Oh,
coming
yeah,
oh
yeah,
back
yeah,
yeah.
for Survivor season 50. They're bringing him back
Did
for
you
it.
also hear that he always has different people from his Survivor season in his show? Like they show up in every
No.
season. Yeah.
that's
Oh, I didn't
funny.
know that. That's funny.
Yeah.
I've actually read some articles about him, but no, I missed that.
Yeah. So like you can find them. They're in every season. He grabs somebody else from his season of Survivor.
Oh, that's wild. That's really funny.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Timmy.
No, you didn't interrupt me. Um, but yeah, no, I thought that was interesting. And then the other one, I it's a commentary on how storytelling has changed in the past 10 years. And I think it's actually probably a really interesting conversation for um really like any realm of art, which it was called they focused entirely on film. But the thesis was essentially like that American like Western films over the past 10 years that are predominantly like big commercial films are plagued with the term they called literalism, which is there's like no room for mystery or interpretation. And it's like largely because studios are like audiences don't like that. And so everything is like nailed on the head and like very, very like quite literal, right?
Hmm.
A great example of it, and they're very small moments, but they're moments that like in a film like 20, 30 years ago, would have been like would have been subtext, right? For instance, like a great example of it would be like the ending of The Graduate, right?
Oh, okay.
Do you all
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
remember
Yeah.
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 Dustin Hoffman on the bus?
Yep.
Hmm.
This isn't referenced in the piece. I just think it's a good example. He's on the bus and you start to realize like you can interpret that he's starting to realize what he did was a terrible mistake.
Hmm.
Perhaps. I mean, or it could just have been a moment,
They're
right?
just taking a breath.
Yeah, but that he maybe perhaps has a terrible life ahead of him, or maybe he's made a choice that was very impulsive and like not mature. And so you can have an interesting conversation and like you can open it up. But an example from that also not mentioned in the article, but that I thought was interesting was in White Lotus. There's a scene where it's a scene after a very intense episode, but the youngest son of the family on vacation says, "I'm just trying to make everyone happy, and
Oh my gosh.
I'm in a family of narcissists." And it
Yeah.
was
Hmm.
one of those things where it was like it looked like he was reading the like the like showrunner's notes on the script,
No, but I
where
thought
it
it
was
was
like
a fun,
you did not
but
need to tell the audience that.
I thought it was a funny comment. Like I thought to me that was a comedic moment, that comment coming off of what had happened,
I
which
I mean, perhaps. I mean, you could say, yeah,
I thought that was like
yeah.
hilarious and I needed an awkward laugh after everything. Like
So
I'm
yeah,
so
so
confused.
Yeah.
a lot of it is just is all about just like um maybe you did not need to like lay it out for your audience in a way that assumes the audience is dumb, if that makes
That did
sense.
not feel like that to me. I can understand how you feel that about
That's
it.
just my best example. They go
Yeah.
through like basically every major film of just like saying things where you're just like, "Oh, this is like a weird version of like exposition that's like unnecessary, but it's like telling people like how their conclusions should be about a character or
Now, I
like a
gotta say
scene."
though, I do love closure. I love having closure on things. I like to be able to just walk away and be like, and I know how everything goes, you know. So I don't mind getting closure, but there has been some really well done movies that leave things open-ended that are open to interpretation. But
My
somebody
favorites.
mentioned that Jordan Peele is a good argument against that, which I think that's a good thought.
Sure.
What about Severance?
Severance?
Severance leaves a lot open to
No,
interpretation.
they unpacked everything. I'm not saying cliffhangers. That's not
No, no, no. I don't
that
even mean
yeah.
cliffhangers. There's so much I don't get.
They completely dedicated the entire second season to answering every mystery from the first season.
I really don't feel like everything is answered for me then.
They answered the goat. They were like, "We're gonna explain the goats."
I don't get the goats. I still don't get the goats.
Yeah, all right. I got Gary on my side, so I don't need any of you.
You know, it's funny, Timmy, you saying that about ambiguous endings and how, you know,
But
just the
but I
notion
just
of
I just want to be sure because I kind of butchered it. I'm not talking about like an ambiguous ending. It's like it's throughout the whole story, like
Mm-hmm.
them telling you like you should feel this way about this character because like
sure, yeah,
the most common form of it is another character telling the audience exactly how like essentially giving a character's notes to the audience. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, and
Okay,
so I get
sorry.
what you're
So I didn't
saying.
mean to cut you
Yeah,
off. I think I did
yeah.
a bad job explaining it.
No, I understand what it's about and everything, but
Yeah.
where I was in a sense thinking about this just this week is that I've been taking it upon myself to try and just expand my knowledge of classic movies a little bit more.
Okay.
So I watched earlier this week. I watched The French Connection with Gene Hackman,
Uh-huh.
Oh,
classic cop movie
yeah.
from the '70s, late
And is
'70s. And
Gene
so
Hackman
I
like,
was
this is my friend. You can trust him no matter what?
no, not at all, not at all. No, so this is a little bit different from what you're talking about, but
Mhm.
it's related just in the sense that, and without, I'm not going to in any way give it away, but
No,
there
it's fine.
is an ending to that movie that is, I would say, a bit abrupt, and it's definitely. Um, there's some heavy ambiguity too. Like, well, wait, so
Yeah.
what did just happen? And I was really struck by it because my initial feeling was I was feeling dissatisfied with that, and it was like literally analyzing my own reaction to the movie. And I thought, huh, I wonder how much of this is me now as a 21st century movie viewer of like, you know, movies don't tend to end like that anymore, you know, and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering how much of, you know, it being a product of its time, and if I had been mature enough to, you know, see it. I was a tiny little kid in the late '70s, but if I had, you know, been old enough to see it as an adult, would I have had a different reaction to it? You know,
I
so
think so
that
because
was
that
just
was
interesting
very,
because tastes change, right? You know, and
yeah, that was
Yeah.
what
very popular way for movies to be at that time.
possibly, yeah, I haven't seen enough from that era to be able to speak to that, but yeah, it just did occur to me like, huh, I wonder if just as the way entertainment changes and tastes change, that you'll have a different reaction to this seeing it for the first time like I did in 2025 as if then, you know, seeing it in the theater itself. I mean, it won
Mhm.
best picture that year, so clearly people weren't too upset about that ambiguity, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that was something literally I was just kind of pondering on my own just earlier this week.
I'll say this. Whenever anybody uses best picture as a hallmark of success, you know what I'll say?
uh,
War
I meant it
horse.
more as popular. I meant more as
No, no,
popularity,
no.
but
I know
yeah,
what you're
but
saying, Scott, but I always
yeah.
think this is a funny one. That
Uh-huh.
War Horse won Best Picture.
I don't even know that one.
It's Steven Spielberg's. It was the beginning of the end for Steven Spielberg for me personally.
Okay.
It's one of the
I was
worst.
so excited when that movie came out and was so disappointed when
It
I
was maybe one of the worst. It's one of the worst films I think I've ever seen.
Wow,
I
that's
don't even
saying a
remember
lot. There's
hearing
some
about it.
real stinkers out there.
No, it's a really bad one. It's it's maybe it's the worst film ever because of the scale. You know what I mean? The scale of it's
Mm.
huge. So it allowed it to be so, that amplify. I think that that should be on the scale of bad, right? Like a bad big movie,
Yeah, it somehow makes it worse because they really invested in it.
someone saying it can't be worse than Hook. That is the most out of touch angle, Gary. Gary, get out of here. I'm gonna kick you out.
I love Hook.
I'm kicking Gary out.
What?
He was on my side and now he's gone.
I love Hook. Uh-uh.
No. We got Ray
Love
Bonilla
Hook.
here. Ray, what's up?
Gary's not such a great friend, isn't he,
I thought he
Timmy?
was I thought he was with me, but apparently I've got no
Quick to turn
friends.
your back on Cassandra and Scott.
I will. May may the bridges I burn light the way, Ray.
How's
Yeah.
everyone doing?
Hey Ray,
Good.
Good, Ray.
Good. How are you, man?
What are you doing? kicking in Photoshop?
Yep. Yep. Yes, I am. I've got a I still haven't taken my painting. I have a painting on the easel, so I'm too lazy to take it off because it's
Nice.
a big one.
Work. How big is it?
For me, it's a big one. It's 24 by 30, which is really not that big, but
That's the good size. I like it's not a John size.
no. It's not a John like I did a sketch that was 50 by 50.
He was just saying, "Oh, I just did this little painting. I think it's, a 18 by 24 or something like that."
No, it was
Isn't that so annoying when John says that? Is he in the
oh,
Yeah.
room?
12 by
Yeah.
Oh
18.
wait.
Hey, everybody, really quick. We are going to move on to the second image. So please post your work to Instagram. It's hashtag drawing hive 253, hashtag drawing hive and add visual arts passage. Post it now. We are going to check it out at the end of the episode. I want to see all the work. People have already been posting this morning and some awesome stuff. Um,
Ray, you
yeah.
missed the memo. We're all drawing Steve.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh
say,
yeah,
I
I
was
just
actually going to
noticed that.
ask that. I was going to ask, I was like, wow, we got 75% of the room drawing Steve. Um,
I'm not gonna stay on Steve, but we just
What
started.
I was just yeah. So do you like to start with the image that you think will be the most challenging, or do you like to end with the most challenging?
I don't know. I think it depends on my mood.
Maybe it doesn't matter so much.
Some
Does it
days it
always?
matters.
How
Today,
often are you surprised by which one's easier and which one's hard?
almost every week.
Really?
Yeah, I'll think one will be a challenge and there's no way I'll get it, but I'll get that one. And the one I think I've got, it's just a disaster.
Nice.
Depends.
You gotta be like the uh call it the go-getter that I am and just do one piece and never know whether or not there was a better option.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I would not have been able to answer that question because it's only ever been one.
Well, some weeks
Actually, I feel
I'm,
like in the very first days of doing this, where I feel like a lot of us weren't endeavoring to do paintings, or it was all just like sketches. I remember
Mhm.
back when Timmy was like cracking the whip on us to make sure we all actually drew every single one. It was like timer, and then the image disappeared, and that was that. So back in those days, I've got a few drawings from there where yeah, I did three or four, but in the new era of drawing Hive, it's only ever been one for me, and I rarely even finish it in the session. If I finish it, it's
Yeah.
because I worked on it for another half hour to an hour afterwards.
Scott, there was a lot of changes made in attitude after episode 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
It was
sounds right.
like, I'm going to look at this maybe just a little bit differently.
That
We
that
basically were
episode
like,
was the
yeah,
key turning point.
I'm just,
yeah. I was like, oh, I guess we have to do this forever. Maybe we should be more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
no, I looked at it as like, there was a period of time, it's okay. I've been doing a lot of practice drawings and I get push up and sit up, but I want to have some nice things. I want to do
Mhm.
some things, and so I'm going to work on these a little bit longer. And I did that for a while, and now I feel like, okay, I want to practice, and if something's working, then I'll take it and try to make it better.
If I'm painting in acrylic paint, then like I normally just do one. But like markers let me work faster because I'm not
Mhm.
having to mix all the paint.
Mhm.
I
I
am in
got
a
you.
very slow medium like digital, so I can only do one.
Well, sometimes you like
You'll be
legitimately
struck by
3D
lightning.
render it and it's become its own entity that you could print in 3D.
Yeah,
So
Ray's
That one that
like,
you did, I think it was of the Mogwai from Gremlins, where you 3D modeled it and then painted it, and it all came together, and you had a fully finished piece at the end. That blew my mind when I watched that one.
Oh, oh man, yeah, that was a lot of fat fingering, the wrong buttons, and
no, it was
not remembering
But
brutal.
just
stuff. But I
said you pulled it
appreciate
off
that.
in 2 hours. It was pretty amazing.
um, yeah, Ray, there's gonna be an episode where we're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm uploading a consciousness to my 3D rendering and
Yeah.
I'm and it will become my little pet.
True, true, this is for real. True story. I am actually considering doing I'm waiting for an episode that can do at least some of the things in VR because I have a way of
Oh, that would be fun.
putting that together.
Oh, that'd be epic, Ray.
What is your VR setup?
I have a Oculus Quest 2, and I've been messing around with a program called ShapeLab VR. It's pretty good. And then there's also they have like Adobe Medium, which is free,
Yeah.
which is incredible as well. It's older, it's not defunct, but it still works. And Gravity Sketch, of
Yeah,
course.
I got the first Oculus. Not, and I don't game. I didn't really want it, but I was just like, I needed to understand like how I wanted to see how like people were creating images in VR, right? I was like, this is over 5 years. My brother was living with me at the time, and we had it. So we were just like goofing around. We were just literally like, we need to be aware of this, right? And so we would be goofing around with it, and neither of us ever liked using it because it was just a routine that, like, if you saw the other guy using it, you would just go up and smack him because it was like the funniest thing
They
ever.
wouldn't see you coming.
Yeah, it was terrifying. You're in this little world, and then all of a sudden you get slapped.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
So
classic
basically
brother bit.
you were learning about the attractiveness of TikToks before TikTok. Like we should just
Yeah,
film
you're the
this.
hipster of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we should just film me slapping somebody with a VR headset on. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
people find that's forget about the VR stuff. Let's slap people with VR headsets on it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was listening to it was like, it wasn't a TED talk, but it was a talk about VR. And it was like explaining how they have all these theories on why people get nauseous or kind of just out of their sorts after like 30 minutes of use, like
Mhm.
uninterrupted use. And this person giving the talk was essentially like, they're all theories. Nobody really knows why, like, there still is not a great system that like allows people to like really stay in it for like hours, right? How long can you log before you are like, I gotta get this thing off my head?
I could do I could do a few like about 1.5 hours, 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
That's
can make it
more.
a
That's more
John
than
Hive
I
session.
thought. That's more than I thought. I mean, the conclusion that this person had was like very, it was one of those things where you're like, this is a great TED talk, and it's probably great because it's based on like made up stuff. which
Right.
which people are finding out, a lot of TED Talks are like made up on like, there's like a whole thing about like how that the conclusion is basically like, if a study is like so shocking you can hardly believe it, it's probably because it's made up. But like that, and it's referring to like TED Talks where, but the theory on this one, that this guy was like, those are all theories, but I'm feeling pretty strong about this one.
This is
What
fact.
Was that we are animals that like to shut down your peripheral vision and still be conscious is like very uncomfortable and unsettling for us.
Yeah,
I
try
thought
having a
that the
detached retina. That's just like
uh,
you lose your
well
peripheral.
Yeah.
well also like you there's a
Yeah, he
I
didn't
know there's
really
a lot
get
of
into that,
motion.
Cassandra. That's a great point.
It is so, I mean, you just described like a disorienting 6 months for me where like, whole eye goes away and they get part of it back, but you still don't have your peripheral. So your brain is trying to interpret something that's not there because it's muscle memory. So I can understand why like the
Oh,
VR doesn't work
yeah.
that way.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were making fun of it. You were like, has this guy never heard of blind people?
No, I
Oh.
mean, I'm just saying your brain is used to working a certain way and
Uh-huh.
you've turned off part of it for the VR. And so
Uh-huh.
your brain is going to continue to try to interpret what it
Okay.
normally can.
So you clearly had a detached retina at some point?
Yeah, I had a fully detached retina.
Oh my gosh. I had a like just tiny tear in my retina that got fixed. So luckily I didn't know what was going on. It was eye doctor caught it. and then fixed it before it became a problem. But yeah, it sounds nightmarish to actually have
Oh,
the
Really,
it's
detachment.
horrible. I was
especially as an
fully
artist.
blind in my right eye.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they
Wow.
thought my other eye was gonna go too. So it was like
Oh
there
gosh, that's
a
really
while
scary.
there where I didn't know if I was gonna keep my vision.
Oh,
Is that when you stop boxing?
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? They don't
That's
even
why I
know
gave up
why.
the octagon.
That's why they don't even know why it happened.
Yeah.
Like it happened when I was 29. There was no, I didn't fall into any other parameters. But when they get your vision back, it changes the way your eye works. So then even after you get it back, then it takes months for your brain to reconnect and reorient the way that the eye now works. So it's a
Oof.
very disorienting time.
Wow.
You're like a seeing blind person. Like you have no depth perception. The amount of walls and doors I walked into were countless.
Did you at
Wow.
least earn some good money in the Fight Club though before you gave it up?
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish, right?
Yeah.
She was a like future contender in the middleweight division. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. They haven't solved that with the Oculus and the VR. Like they once you've had that disorienting experience like that, that sounds exactly like the problems you have when your brain can't sync up to what is currently going on versus what it used to go on.
I could only do it for like 10 minutes at a time. And then I was like, God, I look so stupid in this thing. I was just like, I can't do this. Sorry, Ray.
No, no. I mean, I know it's
They look a lot cooler now.
yeah, and also like they figured out
Yeah.
that I know inconsistencies in frame rates is what really
Yeah.
causes a lot of
Oh,
motion
yeah. I mean,
sickness.
this is literally, I'm talking like 2019, 2020. So they had all of the, yeah, you'd feel literally nauseous if you had it on for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Well,
people
Ray,
people
if you
still
use it
do
for
though.
Drawing Hive, if you use it for Drawing Hive, just please make sure you set up a second camera so we can watch you like
Yes.
gesturing in the air, because that would just,
Yeah,
I think I speak for the entire Drawing Hive community when I say we'd all really treasure that.
Hmm.
Nothing funnier than just watching somebody do
I'll
I
take
VR.
one for
know
the
what
show.
you'll
I'll take
build
one for
will
the show.
be a masterpiece, but I also would love to see, yeah, the goggle look.
I do know that that has become like a popular gag where you get somebody to try out, like when you're at like where they have them set up in public,
Hmm.
you get like a buddy to do it, and then you try to round up as many people as possible to be like an audience. So they have no idea that there's like 60 people there watching them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's good. Um,
Wait,
we're a few minutes away from our next image because I can't believe we've already been on this one almost 15. John, I know you've got some stuff prepared for tonight. Do you want to,
I have a different talk tonight, but
yeah,
I got one, and I have the right people in the room to assist me, and they're welcome to chime in anytime.
cool.
I don't know how well this is going to work, but
Well,
I thought at this point that most
you got to
people
have more
are going to
confidence
listen.
in that.
This
Well, I
is
thought at this
ominous
point
sounding.
You don't know
that,
how.
that,
I
that a
think it's
lot
going
of
to work
people
fine,
listen
John.
to me and not watch their screen. They look up every once in a while
Yeah.
and then look at the screen.
All right. Well,
Wow,
here, I'm gonna,
we all are doing Steve Carell, aren't we?
yeah,
Mhm.
almost.
Well, except Ray.
Yeah, Ray.
I can't see what Ray's doing it. So, oh yeah, I see it. So,
Schwartzman.
He's
yeah,
no Schwartzman.
yep.
All right, I'm gonna play you on.
Can you see?
We can.
All
Yep.
right. So, um, we haven't said anything about our sale yet, Timmy. You can say that later on. But I wanted to say something about our program, about the education that we have. And it's not really, I think our program, the Visual Arts Passage, was designed in a very purposeful way to help us work in the industry. And this is, and it's a little text heavy. I'm sorry, you don't have to read it. I'll say the things to you. I was thinking about education, like putting an education that's best to help people prepare to be professional artists. And so what you need to do that, the ultimate thing that you need is a portfolio. Portfolio rules. It's everything in our industry. To get to the portfolio, there's all kinds of level of skill of things you have to have. But I think bigger than the individual skills are things, big picture things like ideation. You have to have a method, a way to chase ideas. And when I figured this out, I was well into my industry and heard somebody say this, and I kind of thought about it for a while, and I go, yeah, I guess that's true. But idea trumps facilitation as a visual artist, especially as an illustrator, or concept artist. You, when you think about it, if you have really great facilitation and a bad idea, you're going to fail. If you have a really great idea and just enough skill and craft to get that idea across, you can be successful. So idea becomes extremely important and something that everybody really needs to focus on. So we have a class called Ideation and Visual Storytelling. The next thing you need is enough craft to get that idea out there. And so we have a class called Process, Skill, and Craft, which also includes pipeline, understanding. I'm trying to read what Scott's writing there, but
I was
understand.
trying to not interfere. Sorry, I have to leave early. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Good to see you all.
Right, Scott,
Gotta
thank you for
run.
being here. You can always interrupt.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Hi,
See you guys
Scott.
later.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining.
Yeah.
So understanding where you want to work in the industry and having an understanding of the industry and understanding the process. And if somebody were to come to me and say, John, I know you've been making art and teaching art for a long time. What's the best thing you could teach me to make me a better artist? My answer would always be process. If you learn how process work, you learn to get every step right, and it makes you a better artist. And then, of course, you need those two big skills, the skill and craft and the ability to create ideas to make portfolio pieces. And portfolio should be filled with images that are that look like you made them, aimed specifically at an audience. And that audience is a group of art directors. So this is kind of what ideation looks like, at least in the way that we teach it. Everything in our industry starts with an interpretation of text. Art directors read the text, and what they're thinking about is who's the right artist to solve this problem. Illustrators read the text, or concept artists or animators, and they're thinking, what's going to be my visual solution? So getting from text to a visual becomes a really big, important part of the process. And it kind of looks, I'm not going to get into too much explanation of it, but it's creating word stacks, learning how to create visual metaphors, cross-polarize ideas. There's all kinds of things that you don't sit around and wait for an idea, you chase one. And this gives you a way to chase ideas. Process. If you look at this process, these 5 steps, and there could be a 6 easily with a color study, but the 5 steps underneath it, there's all these skills, the things that we do, like doing tonight. Drawing is a skill. It's not everything. It's a very important skill, but it's not everything. So many things so many skills that take an artist, maybe a lifetime to really master. So you can work with what you have and create images to solve the problems and the ideas that you come up with. This gives you a really structured path to be on target, doing thumbnails, doing value studies, understanding lighting and all of that. But the objective is to come up with a portfolio of images that have the function of the part of the industry you want to work in, and most importantly, look like you made it. meaning it's got a voice. And there's so much power in that to being an industry artist. And that is, think of the artist, think of all the people you look at on Instagram and you see an artist and you're like, oh, I know whose work that is. I don't have to look at the name because I know who made that piece. Well, that's incredibly powerful for an industry artist to have. Um, Reason why is art directors, they put people in like their memory bank. And again, is when they're thinking about assigning who's the right artist, they're reading that text and they're saying, who's the right artist to do that? They're doing that from memory, that they very seldom, and I've talked to a lot of them and how they do it and question them with this line of questioning. And it's like, when do you make that decision? And they always acquiesce and say, I almost always make that decision when I first start reading. And as I'm reading through the assignment or character sheet or world building brief, whatever it is, I'm thinking, who's the right person that I know to do that? So becoming memorable and having your work identify you is very, very important as a working artist. And so I like to think that we've structured all of our classes to help people with this process. The goal is the end product, the professional portfolio. It requires that the artist, the student, the emerging artist make a commitment in a direction, because you can't be all to everybody in the industry when you start. You have to think about, what do I want to do the most? What do I love the most? And chase it. You got to learn about the industry, learn the tools that you need to work, the process that you need to work in that industry, and make a body of work that has some sense of your personal voice in it. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about. I'm very, very proud. I do have something else I wanted to share. Voice and function. And Timmy, I hope you're okay with this, because this comes from a very recent class.
Oh,
Um,
all right.
I'm going to skip over this because, the last thing you need is knowing how to connect to the industry. And our portfolio class does that. It's like the second part of it, the tool bag that you need to approach. I won't even explain it, but, branding yourself, making your website work, and all of the newsletters and postcards and introductory emails, all of that are all part of it. And that's the last thing you need. But I saw this the other night. I was listening to excuse me, Adam Gustafson's um, children's book class, a workshop that he's doing for us. Adam teaches process, skill, and craft with us also. He's just an amazing artist. I kind of wish he was here, but then I'm kind of glad he's not, because I don't want to embarrass him. But
We don't want him to know we think he's awesome.
this
Yeah.
is so unbelievable to me. This is a sketch for a narrative for the tortoise and the hare. And he did this sketch in front of the students and showed them how this would work. It's in the right format. It's a spread for a children's book. And then he did this. This picture, it may not, at first glance, you look at it and go, oh, that's really cool.
That's
It's,
amazing.
it is outrageously good. The design, the drawing, there's no rabbit, there's no photograph or pose of a rabbit like that. He's drawing that from this chops that he's built, of practicing drawing, understanding anatomy, animal anatomy, and he's putting it all into action. And it makes a beautiful narrative piece. And again, this is a sketch for a finished illustration. But he did this in front of our students in about 45 minutes the other night. And I was just thinking, I'm so happy
Mhm.
that our program does this, because this is reality. And Adam, hope you get to listen to this. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's so cool.
Nice.
That's all I got, man.
That was great.
That's good.
Those are real. That's a really good testament. I shared a link to Adam's class. I love Adam's class. Adam's amazing. Um, it really is. It really is incredible. He really passes on the gold.
Oh
Um,
my God. I mean, I'm sitting, I'm listening to his class, and I'm
yeah.
reading at the same time I'm listening. Then pretty soon I'm putting my materials down and I'm just staring at the screen. and I'm watching Adam draw, and I've watched like Hall of Fame illustrators, some of the best working artists in the industry, and they got nothing on Adam.
Yeah.
They were gonna say none of
Absolutely.
them were as goofy as Adam.
He was, it was
He's so
absolutely
fun.
amazing.
He's really fun. I mean, it's amazing to see. It's rare you see such great talent and also in such a fun capsule.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I
Like he
mean?
worked really hard to get to that level, and then it looks effortless because of all the time he poured into it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And his willingness to just like,
yeah.
look, here's how you do it. Here's how I do it. I'm gonna show you everything I know. And
So I just one thing I'll just add is we are having an early bird sale. It is it is 20% off, so that's pretty substantial. There's no code. Um, it was set to expire tomorrow. Um, I don't know. I get it. Everything's a bit more expensive now, and so luckily the only thing we're importing is Atom. And so we're gonna try to keep our prices down like for extended periods. So that sale is at the very least it's going to the weekend. So if you need extra time, just reach out. Like seriously contact me. You can just email me at timmy@visualartspassage.com. Um, we get it. You know, everything's more expensive for us too. And so we're just gonna try to do what we can. So
well,
um
there's
yeah,
one more little thing to me, and I don't want to interrupt you about the class, but
yeah,
everybody in our program, every artist that teaches in our program has is consistent with that. They have that,
yeah.
they have those kind of abilities and they share it all the time. And so,
Oh yeah, we have a zero tolerance policy for people who want to not pass on the gold, And you know, if some of these art some of these artists that they exist, they're out there and when they say I don't want to pass on the gold. I worked really hard to get this and I don't want to share it because then they won't have to work as hard as I did and whatever dumb excuse, and then I screenshot that response. I texted to Ray and I said, "Can you believe this?" No, I never do that. And I do think that it's really amazing how just it's just generous. It's just total generosity of just being like, "Oh, I want to pass the torch." And you only get that from really good educators, I think. It is a mix. It's a mix of people who are great at education, people who are great at what they do as well. It's the best of both worlds. We are going to have some guest speakers. I'm really excited to say Kylon Q, an amazing primo oil painter, is going to be joining us. Alexandria Neonakis, if you know The Last of Us, a very important concept artist on that IP for Naughty Dog. Tyler Jacobson. I'm one of Tyler's best friends. No, um, a really talented fantasy artist that we've met through Ray Bonilla. Tyler's the man when it comes to fantasy art. Lindsay Carr, an amazing artist and programmer, which I'm really excited. I'm very excited to have a programmer talk. I think that'll be really cool. If you go to Lindsay Carr's work, you'll see it's this kind of amazing blend of exploring tech and animation and illustration and paintings. It's amazing. And
I
then I
really
got
like
two more that we're going to announce next week. Very
it. Ooh.
exciting ones. Very exciting ones. We're going to wait to announce those, um, but yeah, go to visualartspassage.com. The semester starts July 12th and July 13th, depending on what course you take. Um, but the sale, um, the sale will end. I will decide later, but we're going to extend it to try to, I don't know. We just been thinking
Give
about
everybody a
that.
chance.
So we've been thinking about that and we decided let's extend it just to help people out because I know some people need it. Um, that was thanks for doing that, John. I will say this, it's really great. I can tell you mean it. John's not that good at acting and it's sincere. It really is. like how much you care about it and how much our teachers care about it. So,
It's our
um,
lives.
yeah. Everybody, we're going to move on to the third and final one. It's probably going to be like a 25, 35-minute pose. Please post your work using hashtag DrawingHive253, hashtag DrawingHive and add visual arts passage. Please do it. Post it. We want to check it out. It's my favorite part. And I want to see some of these villains that also happen to be some of the funniest people ever, but they played villains so well. Um, I love Rami. I love Rami Youssef. He's amazing. Did you guys watch Rami?
I've seen it before. It's been a while.
Rami's awesome. Jason Schwartzman, obviously, it's a total goofball. So weird. But yeah, I'm excited to see what people do. I'm sure we're gonna have a crossover of The Office, Michael Scott, for sure. Yeah. Did anybody notice that I changed the sending email every week now for Drawing Hive?
Oh yeah.
It comes from a different sender.
Yeah, I think it's really funny.
I
Somebody in the
always,
comments was amused too. They
oh
really like
really?
the tech bros. Yeah.
I was surprised nobody responded to that they got an email from Tech Bro at Visual Arts Passage. Yeah,
I think it's great.
probably went to a bunch of spam full. I probably got us in permanent spam hell with a bunch of users.
Keep it up. It's fun.
Yeah. Uh, all right, Ray, what have you been up to, man? What have you been working on? Oh, bother Ray. Ray's busy.
He's on mute. I don't know if you realize
No,
it.
I
He's been teaching with me.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would
He
make
did
sense.
two. Yeah, we had Cassandra 2 weeks in a row, and then we
Mhm.
did 2 weeks in a row, and it's been just an absolute blast in that class.
Oh, everyone's doing so great.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but when I was talking about like literalism, right? And like not leaving mystery, do you guys see that with picture making? Maybe not the trend. I'm not asking you to like comment on the whole trend, but I mean like do you see that sometimes with images where you're like, man, I wish they'd left a little bit more to the imagination, perhaps?
Uh, yeah, yeah, there's times where it'd be exciting to leave a little more mystery. There's other times where I really enjoy that they took it to that level. I think
Yeah.
it totally depends.
Hmm.
That's a conversation we have a lot in portfolio about how literal something has to be, and the power of getting your audience to imagine something, to think about. It's like what George Pratt said this in front of me one day, and it was like the first time I heard where it affected me like that. It was like he was talking about comic work, and he said, whatever you can get your audience to imagine and buy into the story is way more powerful than anything that you can draw. And I was like, wow, that's really good. And I think that's true. If you can get your audience, if you can get your um, just your single frame illustration and get people solving a problem or drawing them into an idea, I think it's more powerful than doing something really literal. So that's my version of it, Timmy.
That's
No,
good.
I think that's really interesting, you know. Um, I guess both, you know. Yeah, I think it is interesting. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I don't think that there's a it can't just be one or the other. Like there's times
sure.
where it's so enjoyable that they basically like beat it till it's dead, just really push it. And
Yeah.
that itself becomes exciting because they take it to that level. And then there's other times where it's so
Yeah.
quiet and so subtle and that there's so much beauty in that. And it comes across as very smart too.
Yeah. I my favorite movies that often have like are the ones that I think encourage the most conversations after them.
That that tracks. Like you
You
really
know what I mean?
enjoy for it to follow you home, to leave you contemplating it.
Where you're like, and it's not like what actually happened and what didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's more like oh, here's a good one, like Gone Baby Gone. You've seen that one?
Mm-mm.
So that not even to have to explain the plot, but the film ends very much with you saying the discussion is what the character did wrong or right. And it almost always splits the room.
Oh, okay.
And the film does not tell you.
It doesn't tell you which one it is.
It
It just
it
lets you.
doesn't give you a strong, it's very clear the director was like, I do not want to tell the audience how they were supposed to feel. Um,
Is that current? I mean, is that something?
that's a I mean, that's probably getting close to like a 20-year-old movie, 15 maybe. So, but it's just an I don't know. It's one of my favorites for how, it's not a perfect movie, but I think of movies because I guess I'm trying to think of like paintings or music. I mean, you see it in music more often. Not still, I think you see literalism a lot now, where it's like there aren't a lot of songs. I feel like there were so many songs even into the 90s where you're like that, you know what that song's actually about, right?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's a really good point.
And like I can't think of like you're like, I don't know. You're like not you don't see that as often now. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of that with like you probably see it much more in the visual arts, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you would see like in film and television because I would imagine the stakes are lower, like for like audience approval, I guess.
Yeah, well, and like I'm more of a narrative painter. So
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of themed group shows, and a
Uh-huh.
lot of times you're watching, you're given a theme, and then you watch how everybody interprets that theme. And it's fascinating to see the take that they take because it's often, very different from the way I read it. And I'll read it, and to me, it'll be very clear one thing. And then
Yeah.
to watch somebody else interpret it, and to them, it's very clear another thing. So I don't know. I really enjoy that.
Sorry, I ducked out. Everyone had to was called away for a second. What did I miss?
We were talking to the ether of you.
Oh, oh no, that
We
must
were
have made for
discussing
great
literalism.
television.
Like, do you see
Uh,
literalism in art a lot?
like doing just giving you this story straight up, or
Like,
Giving you the
just,
story in a way that's almost kind of talking down to the audience, where it's like like it's assuming the audience is kind of dumb.
oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think in popular forms a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that's always kind of been the case. No.
hmm
Timmy, what I said about relating it to illustration, did that make sense, or was I
Yeah,
out?
I think so.
I
I
missed the
I
point.
I picked up on that.
It makes sense to me. I see it that way, but I'm not sure it's the right, connection.
I mean, I think there's the literalism in I mean, I love when surrealistic qualities came into illustration. Where it was more about you were communicating an idea rather than a literal narrative. But even within the said narratives, there was literal ways of showing it and more tasteful, suggestive ways of also showing it. Like I always think about a like a Harvey Dunn painting of somebody, of a conflict in a room, where it's like, the whole thing about Howard Pyle and those guys were like, you either show just before the action, just before the event, or right after the event. You never show the event, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it
So
just makes for better.
Well, that's
I don't know.
very much what I was saying. The thing you missed, I made a well, you more than that, but I made a comment about something George Pratt said about whatever, if you can get the viewer to imagine something, it's so much powerful than anything you can draw. And
absolutely.
and I think that's how I think about it, and with contemporary illustration, I love illustrations that aren't, that direct and that literal. They make you think.
Right.
I mean, they have a job to do at the same time. They're supposed to guide you through something, but I think illustration can still be very successful, um, and take you that you can solve with a less literal solution.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Even in the most, I think some of the greatest, uh, just straight storytelling illustrations that I've seen, also have that across medium. I mean, like, you look at a piece of concept art from somebody like Jamie Jones, you know,
Yeah.
uh, like real storytellers, really like, instead of that, they really can kind of show how to interpret a scene, where it's, what they hi- what they choose to show rather than showing everything. Um, but I think the trend is like, that can always kind of be a trend, towards just trying to make sure that the audience doesn't feel like, uh, it's like an attempt to make the audience feel like they're not they're not dumb for not getting it, but in fact, explaining everything is makes them feel like they're being talking down to, you know.
Agree.
I always think about the Empire Strikes Back. There's a scene where uh Luke's in the beginning of the movie. He's in the ice cave. He gets captured by this like Yeti or whatever
Yeah.
this,
Hmm.
right? And in the original version, they uh had this point where Luke cuts the monster's head, the arm off, and you just hear this scream. And they had a hand puppet designed for it, but they just couldn't make it work. And then um, as a result, when they didn't show it, it was like this really terrifying thing. Like it's almost like
Hmm.
it puts you inside the story. You became like a direct participant in the telling of the story because you were Luke at that point. Like you didn't know what that was. You were trying to get out, but then when they did the special edition, they should ended up showing the monster, and it was like, yeah, that's not even that scary.
It's not as
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
so I think that works in all forms. Right. I mean, I think even like portraiture in photography, I always think about it like that too.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to ask this question to Ray, because you might know who he is, and so might Cassandra. Do you know the artist Bill Farnsworth,
I
the
don't.
famous
Yeah.
landscape painter? I just drew him. Look at my drawing.
Oh,
It looks just like Bill Farnsworth.
I was like, what?
Um,
I don't even know what Bill Farnsworth actually
I was gonna say
looks like.
this is a real inside baseball.
okay.
Nice.
Oh no, he's a very well known
Yeah. Oh,
portrait
okay.
painter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's oh yeah, it does look like him, John.
yeah.
That's funny.
The nose is a really Bill's a wonderful artist. I mean, I need to get him in as a guest. He's a really nice man and just a really good artist.
And
So
he's got a model's face, you know.
you want to hear something funny? Is I played tennis against Bill when I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school. He lived in New Milford, Connecticut, and I lived in Reading, Connecticut. And our high school tennis teams played. I didn't play against him. He played against somebody else on our team, but we knew each other from that. And we saw each other years later. We knew exactly who we were. It was funny.
Aw, that's
Funny.
Small
so
world. Both of us.
I thought, John, I thought you were gonna say, you know, he did uh I didn't play against him, but he played against me.
I
I was like, wow,
think
John.
he played against a guy on our team named Al Woods, but I was just a freshman. Bill's older than me.
Shout out to Al.
Yeah. Shout out to Bill. He's a good guy.
Shout out to Bill.
Yeah.
Did he win or lose?
I don't, I actually don't even know the answer to that.
Oh man.
I'm just going to say Bill won. Um, just to be good to Bill.
Yes.
I used to
Yeah,
read
he's a winner.
stories about these. Yeah, I know. He's a yeah, he's a winner. I used to read about stories about the old school animators, um, of like, you know, we're talking the people that worked with Tex Avery and like, um, you know, the original directors from like Looney Tunes or like Disney, and when they were these guys describes what's one of them was Ken. Oh my god, I can't remember his name, but it was in Richard Williams' animator survival kit. He talked about how these guys would like when they would think about a scene, they would be like, you know, they wouldn't stay around. They wouldn't like really sketch it out. They would just go for coffee and go play tennis at the beginning of the week, and then by the end, they would come back in and then just whip out the scene. And it was like, you know, but they were always thinking about it, and I'm like, were they?
No, they weren't.
Or were they playing tennis?
Okay, this is funny, Ray. You're going to get a kick out of this, and telling like it doesn't even seem fathomable in the illustration world today. But my father became a total tennis freak in his like mid-30s, and built a tennis court at our house. And he was so afraid of missing a call from an art director. He had a phone. He had the phone company, and it was difficult to get a phone. Like this was out in the woods in Connecticut. He had a phone on the tennis court just in case an art director called. I just think that's pretty freaking awesome.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's kind of a flex.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Oh my god.
again, and then to pretend like you're not panting to death, like when you answer the phone or you can actually talk.
Oh, the funniest phone calls I've ever had are from like me in the middle of working out and having to answer and like control my breath. Just try my best. Just like
What are you
panic,
doing? Oh, nothing.
panic, deep breathing. Just be like, no, this time is perfect.
I'm not doing anything.
This medication I'm on.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Man. I'm actually really excited right now. I'm double tasking because the art of crowdfunding is starting right now. And so
Oh, cool.
Ashley's starting her workshop. Ashley Lovett's doing a workshop on
Oh, awesome. That's
crowdfunding,
such a
which
great
just
idea.
kicked off minutes ago. So I've been doing more than one thing at once. Trying to get a snappy remark into Ray, but I was like too late on all of them. Sorry, Ray. I wasn't doing my
No,
best.
shout out to Ashley.
Yeah.
You know, that's crowdfunding. That is like what a class.
Ugh,
That's, if you
Yeah.
want to learn about crowdfunding,
she's definitely the
Ashley's the
right
person
person
to
for
do
it.
it. Oh my goodness. So
So
I still remember Ashley's guest speaker talk uh about the crowdfunding, and it was like, oh my God, this is the future. Why wait for a publisher? If you want to do something, you could just go do it. It's amazing. And
Hmm.
look, this person's doing it. This is living proof.
I have a Timmy announced it last week, but this is really exciting to me, is that uh, our portfolio class, we added more experts.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool, by the way.
Audrey,
Yeah.
Audrey Benjaminson and Sterling Hunley and Dale Stefanos.
Calling in the big dogs
That's
for
right.
just one class.
Well, what's cool about it though is and it was nice to be, us thinking about it, was thinking about how can we bring people from kind of multiple parts of the industry, and I think that and I think that's very helpful for that type of a class, is because you have an expert, somebody that works more in publishing than the other one, somebody that works in the fantasy world,
Right.
somebody that works in the editorial world, and you have experts in different directions. Plus,
Which
they're
I want to, somebody asked this the other week. They were like, is it just going to be like guest speaker, guest speaker, guest speaker? And it's like, it's not. These aren't, they're not showing up as, you're not going to be talking about Audrey or like Sterling's work.
they're there to critique
They're
and
just there to critique and give kind of
advise.
mentorship feedback. So it'd be good
That's my job, to control that.
that they don't talk about themselves.
There's not a problem with any one of us.
You'll be like,
They
I
may
know what
have
you
to,
guys are going to want to do.
they may have to control me, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Not
Is it
true.
like that Tim, you ever seen the John Favreau show where he like invites a bunch of people over for dinner in a restaurant?
Oh, yeah,
No.
You know what I'm talking about, Cassandra?
I
Yeah.
do. It's
Like
like the chef.
and
Like,
yeah. No, it's actually before that.
oh,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
like
I don't
you know
know.
Oh, somebody already
where he's
got it.
like
Table for
constantly
five.
yeah, table for five. He's constantly smoking a cigar, so he's like clearly going to restaurants that have grandfathered rules in for like smoking.
Hmm.
Every time he's talking, he's got all these directors and actors but there was a meme going on around like people collected like just clips of him. He's brought them there to talk about themselves, right? But then he would always interject, like he would always bring everything around to back to him making Swingers, the movie. You know,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, it was a really bad car accident. It's like, yeah, when we did Swingers, you know,
It's the only thing you can contribute. That's pretty good.
yeah,
Good for him. Always liked him. I
Yeah.
hope he's a good guy. I don't know. I just
yeah.
like the things he's done.
Yeah.
That would be me. That's if I'm, I hope it doesn't happen to me, where I'm like, when I did Drawing Hive, we were,
I just want to
we
like
pretty,
sound like I know what these cool people are doing.
yeah, yeah.
Ray, I need to talk to you, Ray. Private conversation.
Step
Wah,
into the
wah, wah,
side room.
wah.
All right, I'm done.
That's great, Cassandra. That's awesome.
No, thanks.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, I
That was
love it,
awesome.
Cassandra. That was I put that on as a like a secondary pose of him, and I'm glad
Uh-huh.
Timmy chose it. You saw it. You picked the right one, Timmy.
The
It's
reason I picked it was because it was the most, it
full
was,
figure.
well, no, it was just, he was the most costumed like the character.
Uh,
He is wearing a vest. I mean, it was just, he looks like a billionaire jerk. Like
you picked the right one.
he's
So
wearing the vest. It's the vest that did it for me. I was like, or like, like uh, what is
Cortex.
it? Gore-Tex? Yeah, that stuff. Yeah,
Well, also like it's got a great silhouette
yeah,
where if you can at least get the pose in a silhouette,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it does a lot of the work for you.
I agree.
These guys have ruined vests for so many people.
Never.
Vests are having a rough time for for my type, for me. I'm not a vest guy for a while. Yeah, I can't get into the vest. Somebody got me a vest for Christmas last year, and I was like, I only buy used clothing, like exclusively. And also, I was just like, guys, you think I don't, I would never complain about a Christmas gift, but I was like, like a vest has implications. Like, yeah, it's kind of like a modern day villain outfit.
Really? I love a good fleece vest. Like, I don't know, I'm a hiker. Like it's just it's perfect mix
35-year-old men,
elements.
Cassandra, 35-year-old men are having a tough time with vests right now.
Really?
You don't know what
Yeah.
it's like out there for
You
us.
don't know what it's like out there, Cassandra. There are
Tired moms
implications.
like the layering.
There,
It's less effort to
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah. My little brother, I had a meeting with him, and he was like, "You always look like you just came back from a fly fishing trip." So
It's a good look.
yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, there are worse things.
versus looking like you came back from a millionaire's vacation.
Ah, the dream.
Well, that is true, Timmy. Like you could, I mean, there are a lot of like I have a lot of Orvis
Yeah.
shirts for some reason. I think it's because Costco started carrying them,
Mhm.
and
Oh
I don't
man.
have a single fly rod, and
I
I think
uh
my only fishing rod is broken, so I look like a fisherman. But
I was with my brother, and we were going to meet up with some people last week that are all they're all truly cowboys, like they're on horses every day. And the second we got there, I got out of the car and I was like, why did I wear shorts? I was like, I was just like, this was not a shorts day. This was a pants day, and you wore shorts.
Wear the
You
belt buckle day.
I'm not a belt guy. It just pants would have been nice. I haven't put on shorts since because I'm just like, what if you run into a cowboy? There's nothing more humiliating and emasculating than talking with a true cowboy that they look like they bought their jeans like at a gas station. Like they, like cardboard denim. None of this like yoga pants denim that people get now, where it's got like a stretchy waist. Nothing about it is comfortable. Yeah. Working,
yeah, it's just like
working,
a
working man
byproduct for
denim.
like barbed wire
Yeah.
fence, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you
They're
know,
like, yeah, exactly. Indestructible pants.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, it is always funny. And yeah, it was a pants day.
I can just see you like stepping out of the car and being like,
I was like, oh no,
Timmy,
oh
you
no.
uncomfortable the whole time in your shorts.
I was totally uncomfortable the whole time. I was like, "Ooh, this is a horrible mistake." These guys, I'm probably getting back in my car and they're going to be like, "God, I was wearing shorts."
everybody
Now, if they're
take a
real
look at
Tony is
shorts
cowboys,
cool.
guy.
Tony is like cosplay. Tony's dressed like a cowboy.
if they're real cowboys, they didn't even notice.
Oh, not true. But the funniest thing
Cowboys
ever,
can be very judgmental.
yeah, absolutely. The funniest thing ever, Cassandra, is
Hmm
Nick Vidros,
uh,
world class photographer.
hmm
He was my dad was like, "Hey, do you want to do this? We're doing this roundup." So it's like a cattle thing, right? And he's gonna be around all these cowboys, like legit cowboys. And Nick Vidros is like a true city. He's a Greek city boy, like as an urban man.
hmm
And he was so excited. He went and like bought and made like a custom cowboy outfit.
Wow.
Wait, I'm gonna dig up a photo. It is, he really thought like I am gonna look cool, right? Meanwhile, he's like a 60-year-old man in this photo, but he's like, I'm gonna look cool. That's what he's going for. And I swear to God, he looks like Buzz Lightyear if Buzz Lightyear tried to dress up in Woody's outfit. So he's he had full like dairy cow, cowhide,
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
chaps. Yeah, chaps.
I love it.
And when he was walking, there was like a jangle, you know?
Did he
And
wear spurs?
yes, he did the whole thing.
So you could hear every step
He
he
had a
took.
bandana like around his,
Oh my God.
a vest. It's so he looked like Woody. He looked like a stocky Woody. It was the funniest thing ever.
For
Um,
the skies.
yeah,
There's a snake in my boot.
yeah. Except you would never like if he found out even that I was joking about this, he'd be like, that episode's going in the vault. And I would be in trouble.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah,
Tag
shout
him.
out to
Tag
Nick.
him in this episode.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Cowboy Nick.
I'm not joking. It wouldn't be funny.
Nick's you should tell it,
He's
Timmy.
a serious man.
He's a super successful photographer.
Yeah, replaced Ansel Adams by Kodak. Literally hired him when they let Ansel Adams go into retirement. So he would always be given Kodak's film before it was released to the public. And yeah, he's the most intimidating man I've ever spent time with.
Except for when he's in his chaps.
No, you would not. No, I guarantee nobody made fun of him. I guarantee it. I guarantee nobody made fun of it. At most, somebody was like,
Except for maybe your father.
my dad was the only one dressed up sillier than him,
I
probably.
know.
John, they both were like city boys doing like cowboy cosplay. It was hilarious. Yeah, it's the funniest thing ever.
I'm picturing City Slickers.
100%.
Your dad is like, no, I'm a serious cowboy. Wait a second, I left that in my G-Wagon.
Yeah,
Uh, Your dad was a cowboy, though.
he would always say, I've said this before, but he would always, when he was around somebody like Nick that was dressed up like a cowboy, and it was always funny because my dad was kind of doing, he was calling the kettle black kind of like, but he'd be like, everybody's dressed up like cowboys here, but they all smell like soap. I always thought that was so funny.
I mean, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I think I have, but I'll tell it to everybody. A good friend has a very successful real estate company now in Kansas City. He's my age. I went to high school with him, been best friends forever. And he was doing something with your father with their office park. This was like 25 years ago. And my friend's name is also Tim, very sophisticated guy. Um, and he called me after spending the afternoon with your father. And I said, well, what'd you think? And he paused and he goes, man, he goes, those guys, they're real men. That was his reaction to everybody he met connected to your father, referring
Oh
to
yeah,
everybody at the shop. He goes, those are real men. And Tim,
it's all press
something
work.
he didn't see very often.
Yeah, he was like a stockier Hemingway without hair. He was a bald Hemingway. um, Everybody start posting your work. It's hashtag drawing hive 253, hashtag drawing hive and at visual arts passage. Please post it now. Don't wait till the end. I mean, it is the end. You got to post it now. Post it. Don't wait.
Oh,
We're giving y'all about, you got 4 minutes. So might feel like eternity, but it's not. We're going straight there. There's some really awesome work up already.
Oh, I believe it. Ooh, Ray, that's cool what you're doing with the light there.
I want to see.
Thinking about thanks. I'm thinking about trying to get a look of like the Count of Monte Cristo, the Meek
Mm.
Schaefer painting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
so cool.
But then I'm gonna have like
Wow.
I don't be getting all creative on us here, Ray.
Not allowed.
Just tell you draw what's in front of you. Don't start getting really creative.
Don't get fancy.
That's beautiful, Ray. I like it.
Well, I was gonna 3D scan myself playing cards and then
Then
you
animate
know
it.
then
You're gonna have
animate
like
it.
Jason Schwartzman playing poker with 5 dogs.
Yeah. But I knew the smoke sim would just take too long, so that's why I decided to ban it.
Nice.
Sandra, that's looking awesome.
It really
Thanks.
is. I love it.
I don't know how to finish my drawing.
I think I have to work faster now.
Oh,
No.
beautiful, Cassandra.
Thanks, guys. Ooh,
Oh, it's
John,
perfect Steve
that's
Carell
good
likeness. That's an
likeness now.
amazing likeness.
Yeah.
Definitely Steve Carell now.
Wonder he stopped because he was done.
Yeah, I actually was done and now I'm messing it up.
No, you're not. It looks awesome.
Hmm.
In class, we used to with Bill Mon. I don't know if he got this from your dad, John. I've always wanted to ask you this, and I always keep forgetting. But he always tell us, uh, he would go up to a piece of artwork and a critique, and he goes, "So is this done?" And if he said that, right, you knew you were there was nowhere you can go, because if he said that yes it was, he would say, well, it doesn't look done. And then if you say no, it's not done, then you say, why not? It's due today.
So it was a lose-lose situation.
It was a lose-lose situation. We called it the Kobayashi Maru. We were big Star Trek nerds. I was like, oh my god, hopefully Bill's class is not a Kobayashi Maru again.
I think
What's the context? I don't know. I'm not for non-nerd. For a
I
really
think you
cool
just have
guy.
to
How would
know.
you explain that to a really cool
You'd
guy?
have to be there. You'd have to be there, Timmy.
Okay, I
No,
see.
the Kobayashi Maru. It's just it's like a simulation in Star Wars that
I
of
see.
Star Trek. Excuse me. That
oh, oh,
That's so
I know
embarrassing.
it's very embarrassing. This is like one of my stirrups. My stirrups fell off.
Yeah.
Um,
that's all soap.
that it's a no win situation
My
essentially.
stirrup fell off. All right, sorry. Proceed. Yeah.
It's just a describes like a simulation that you go through
Yeah.
in when you're in the Starfleet Academy, and basically it's a no win situation, and it's just talking to you about like what do you do, how do you react in a no win situation, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
But there was only one
It's like a
person that
driver's
beat the
test.
Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Well, it's like everybody's supposed to fail it, right? But the only person that didn't fail it was James T. Kirk.
Bill's my
So
boss. Oh,
Yeah.
it's from Gary Romano. Yeah. But, well, you got a good boss. He's a good artist.
All right. Are you guys ready to see some artwork?
Always.
yeah, is John reading chat?
John's reading the chat. Yeah.
God,
It's,
Well, I'm
it's
done
got
drawing. That's
it's
why.
gotten that far. John's like, whoa, there's a chat.
you see this? What's this button
I've
do?
really progressed.
I thought it was just the four of us just screaming into a vacuum.
250 some odd episodes of us all hanging.
Yeah. It's just a real dark Black Mirror episode. No, it's not. It's not. It's great. It's one of the positive. It's the one Black Mirror episode that they do each season that's like nice.
That's the ones I look for.
It's that one. It's that one. And you don't
The
really know
Christmas
that it's going to be
episodes.
that one till it's over. Yeah. All right. Let's hope that it doesn't crash, that it brings us straight to Instagram. We're all going to be positive. It's going to work.
Ooh,
Here
oh my
we
gosh,
go.
already.
Yeah, look. Looks like it knows us now. All right.
Wow, Julian.
Oh,
Good stuff already.
Jeez.
beautiful, Jillian.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
Whoa.
dang, Gary.
That's great. Also
It feels like you went Drew Struzan on it with like
did the location, which was great. The location was a character.
Bill Mom needs to give you a raise on that one. That's nice.
Yeah.
beautiful, Peter.
Nice. Good Rami.
Are you done, Gary?
Ooh, Eric, I love how you
Yeah.
handled that.
Yeah. Gary,
Love
you
all the
get that
textures in
done?
that. Really
All
nice.
right.
Oh, that's so fun.
Whoa. That's
I love
Nice.
fun.
that you went Hieronymus Bosch on it again. That's so fun. Oh, wow, Chuck. That's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Nice stuff.
AJ, that's cool.
Man, I
That's
was
Nice,
awesome, AJ.
Jason.
always look forward to Jason's stuff. That's great.
Wow.
Huh.
Hey, Robert, I love how
Whoa.
you have the red bleeding down like
Jeez.
that.
That's so good. That's great.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah.
Post-it notes. We need a post-it sponsorship.
You'd need to be sponsored by them. Oh, that's
Hilarious.
awesome.
That whole
That's
scene.
great, Marcy.
That whole scene is hilarious. That's great.
Oh, Rebecca, that's wonderful.
Nice,
That's
Rebecca.
awesome.
Really nice, Brian.
Awesome.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
See it. I see them all.
Oh,
That's a good one.
Nice.
That's a
really
good
good.
Rami.
I love the sweatshirt too, like the folds you've got.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
Doug.
Dark.
Whoa.
That's
Man,
so
Dark.
cool.
Nice.
I should have
Wow.
done that.
Oh my gosh. That's so
Nice,
good.
Peter.
That's really good,
Jeez.
Peter.
Oh man, I love that one.
You got his brow right. I didn't get that yet.
Wow.
Jason, that's awesome.
So great.
I love that.
Nice.
Ooh.
Wow. That's so much fun.
Should have done that.
Should have.
Oh, I like that.
Jojo.
Great
Jojo.
job.
Hey,
Jojo the
Jojo.
artist. Jojo the artist. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Good stuff.
Oh, that's cool. I like how you quadrant out your page.
Yeah.
Great
Love
job.
it. And the hand. I love the post-it note over the hand. That's fun.
Oh. There you go.
Really
Nice.
nice. Great job,
Nice.
Paul.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's good.
Nice,
Very
Kobe.
nice. Great
There
job,
you go.
Felicity.
Felicity.
Wow. Felicity. Wow. You also perfectly captured Carell's perfect hair transplant.
Got a lot of hair.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Love it.
Really
Nice.
nice.
Nice. Okay.
Ooh, that's cool,
Nice,
Valerie.
Valerie.
Good stuff. Oof. Good
Whoa.
one.
Peter, you got to so many.
How does Peter do it? Does Peter start day early?
I just think his hand's a blur.
People
Yeah,
are gonna
Just
have to
started way
Jason,
too
start.
did you
early.
start early? Because you got so much done too.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Jason.
start
Good.
seeing like metadata for the images. Be like when it started, when it ended.
Because I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
Great job.
Wow.
Oh, I love
Really
it.
Nice.
nice. Lovely line work.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
That's so
You
great,
really
Kyler.
feel the depth.
You got
Yeah.
beautiful light on that. Such good light.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Awesome.
Whoa. Nice.
that looks awesome, Paul.
Nice.
Great job.
I love it.
Oh
Ooh,
Love
I
wow.
it.
That's
love your
great.
color
Love it. That's
palette.
fun.
That's lovely. Great job,
Thanks,
Nicole.
Nicole.
Oh,
Love
that's
it.
really nice. That's great. Love it, Jeff.
Very smart.
So cool.
Yeah. Uh, nice,
Really
Karen.
nice, Karen. Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Great stuff.
Great
Nice
drawing.
job. There
Really
you go.
nice. It's a
Wow.
good silhouette too.
The Rami stuff is awesome.
Great job. Tag him, y'all. Let him see the beautiful drawings you did. That's really nice, Karen.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Ooh. Oh, that's great. Good likeness. Like I definitely know it's Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's a
that's
cool figure.
cool.
Good stuff. A lot of new people in that. Thank you.
It's a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Welcome.
Really nice.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. It has like a 1920s vibe to that one.
Mm-hmm. It did.
It- It's
Good
funny.
stuff.
I just thought to myself, why is everybody doing it like mirrored? That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Turns
Ooh,
out you're the problem.
really
I'm the
cool line
mirror.
work there.
I am the
There goes
mirror.
there goes another stirrup. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're bareback.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Oh, that's really nice.
I love that one.
That's awesome.
That's great, Nicole.
It's good. It's
Ooh,
good. Caught the mood.
I love how you handled that. Great job, Jeff.
And that is the last one. Good one to end on.
Definitely.
Thank you everybody for drawing
Stellar.
with us tonight. I do want to just remind you all that the early bird sale is going to continue. So if you want to save 20%, sign up soon. It will not go forever, but we're gonna hold on to it for a few more days instead of ending it tomorrow. So um, please go check it out. It's no code needed, but if you're interested in illustration or fine arts as a career, or if it's a hobby that you take very seriously, this is the place to do it. We do skill, we do focus, we help you map out becoming the artist you want to be. So go to visualartspassage.com. That was awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
You guys are
Have a
great.
great week.
Yep. All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.
Yep. Good night.
Night.